But one thing I don't like about him is this guy said the first thing that he's going to do is pass a resolution of supporting Israel.
The first bill that I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue in getting that done.
He's going to send billions of dollars. He's going to agree with the Uniparty, agree with the Democrats, and award the people in the military industrial complex billions of more taxpayer dollars. Well, not even taxpayer dollars, print money to send over there.
Look, everybody can grumble about details of the legislation. What I remind my friends, and everybody you just showed are all good friends, listen, we're not going to get 100% of what we want right now because we have the smallest majority in history, and we only have the majority in one chamber. The Republicans run the House. We have the small majority in the House. The Democrats are in charge of the Senate and the White House. So by definition, we won't get everything we want, but we got a great product here at the end, much better than the alternative that came in the Senate supplemental.
So he's agreeing to send, I think it's $15 billion over there to aid Israel, even though the United States, every year the United States gives the Israeli military, the IDF, gives them $4 billion. So you're already giving these guys billions of dollars a year. So they get into a war. Why the hell do you need to continue funding it? Aren't you already giving them the billions of dollars? So if you need to give them $14 billion now, what the hell were they using the money for to begin with? The money you gave them last year, the year before, and the year before. Where the hell did that money go? If you all of a sudden need to make an emergency resolution and send these guys billions of dollars. So I don't like that. You coming into the second most powerful position in the country, the House Speaker, more powerful than the Vice President. You coming into this position talking about another country.
I'm concerned that the Speaker's cut a deal with the Democrats to fund foreign wars rather than to secure our border. But what I want to talk about today is process. The bill that will come out of the House after all of this is a bill that began as H.R. 815 to expand the eligibility for veterans to receive reimbursements for their emergency care. How did a bill that was intended for veterans that came out of the House become a bill that may bring us to the brink of war at least 3 places on the globe by sending $100 billion to military contractors?
We got all problems going on at home, but you, just like Joe Biden told the New Yorkers, I don't give a damn about you, just like he showed the Hawaiians and the people in East Palestine over there in Ohio, he showed all these people, look, I don't give a damn about y'all. I'm going to go to Israel and play buddy-buddy with Benjamin Netanyahu, give him a hug and all of that. And now we got on the Republican side, we got the new House Speaker. Look, I know we got all types of problems. We have piss poor education. We got crime going on. People can barely afford gas to go to work. Rent prices are skyrocketing. I know we got all that going on, but look, that's not my priority. My priority is Israel. What the hell is going on in D.C., man? These people are entrenched with these Jews over here in Israel. What's going on with that? And the reason why I say Jew is because Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, when he went over there talking about supporting Israel, it wasn't talking about what's best for Americans, what's in the best interest of the American people. That wasn't his explanation on the reason why the United States was supporting. He said the reason why is because he's a Jew. So they're spending U.S. taxpayer resources, U.S. taxpayer money, using U.S. taxpayer-funded ships, soldiers, U.S. blood, and these soldiers that they got over there in secret don't want to tell the people about. They're using all of that because they're in line with the Jews. Explain why the hell is it American interest. And I don't want to hear any of this stuff of talking about, oh, it's because we're trying to make Jesus come back because all of the prophecies in the Bible and all that. Look, man, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. Maybe today's Israel is not the same Israel from the Bible thousands of years ago. I don't know. That can be debated. There's a whole theological debate, but these politicians are saying stuff like this, and they're saying, oh, we got to protect the Jews, but they're not explaining to the American people why they should use American resources to prioritize Israelis on the other side of the world instead of the American people. So when he gets up there and says that, I'm just like, man, you kind of lose me already. One thing that was good that he said was he's not down with this funding of Ukraine because he sees the writing on the wall. He's looking at the polls. The vast majority of Republican voters are out on Ukraine, don't want nothing to do with this anymore because they realize that they've been duped. And this whole war was just a profiteering move by the U.S. government because Russia invaded Ukraine. 5 weeks later, Ukraine agreed to terms to end this war with Russia. Russia invaded in February 2022. March 2022, Ukraine and Russia had a peace deal, but the United States and the British blocked it. So the United States has chose to drag this war out way longer. And what you might ask why? Because of money. Because we can't have a war ending in 5 weeks. Look, man, if we can drag this thing out for 2 years, 3 years, imagine all the billions of dollars that we can run over there through Ukraine. Imagine all the billions of dollars that the military industrial complex can make and that we can get in kickbacks and our campaign donations. Imagine all the board seats we're going to get, like Nikki Haley, Queen neocon warmonger Nikki Haley. So it's a good thing that Mike Johnson is not down to continue sending money to this.
We're going to move to Ukraine, and House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly coming around to the idea of Ukraine aid, so long as he can get a political win out of it.
He did say one thing that I think was a bit neoconish, talking about he still believes that Russia needs to be stopped and all of that. And if the West doesn't stand up and stop Russia and Ukraine, which they can't do, they show they are not capable of doing it. If the West doesn't stop Russia, then Russia is just going to continue and they're going to invade Poland next and the Baltic states after that. And then they're going to get all of Europe. So is this what you really believe, Mike Johnson? Are you really that much of a dupe? Are you one of these George Bush era neocons who talks like this? Because this sounds like some crap that Lindsey Graham would say. What are you going to say next? We need to bomb Iran?
And the gentlelady was just essentially implying that for some reason this is somehow Donald Trump's fault. Ukraine was invaded by Russia under the watch of this president. That's the truth. And this incompetent president has led to the situation that we sit in right now. And people are dying in Ukraine, yes. But the problem is they're being funded with American debt. There is no skin in the game for the American people. We're not talking about tax increases. We're not doing anything to say that we're going to pay for this stuff as we rack up $1 trillion of debt every 3 months. But the truth is, Americans are dying, not just Ukrainians, at the hands of wide open borders, while literal hostiles flood into our country. Fentanyl pours into our streets. People are chanting death to America. And the response by Republicans is to pass a $1.7 trillion cap-busting spending bills under suspension of the rules, handing the keys to the NSA and Intel to continue spying on Americans. And now we're on the floor under a rule to give another $100 billion to fund war, unpaid for, with zero border security, under a rule which Republicans should oppose because it is a process pre-designed to achieve the desired predetermined outcome with no border security. The individual votes on Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan and a sweetener bill for TikTok are belied by the fact they are being packaged together as an amendment to the Senate passed foreign aid bill. This was all pre-cooked. It's why President Biden and Chuck Schumer are praising it. Speaker Johnson said in January, if President Biden wants a supplemental spending bill focused on national security, it better begin with defending America's national security. We want to get the border closed and secured first. To that, I say amen. And where is that, Speaker Johnson?
So, it's some decent things about this guy, but his foreign policies, man, I just can't ride with these guys who have these mentalities of funding all these foreign wars, trying to be the world police, burning out American resources, using American blood, lying and manipulating American people with all these warmongering, fear-mongering tactics. I just can't get down with somebody like that.
And this is the type of betrayal that Republican voters are absolutely fed up with. You know, he really crossed the line with most Republicans across the country with what he did on the FISA vote last week, being the final deciding vote against warrants and then passing FISA. And now he's moving forward, making funding to Ukraine, $60 billion to Ukraine, his top priority, the most important thing he can do in a speakership. And he's willing to work with Democrats to make that deal and get that done and change the motion to vacate to do it.
Every day.